Hello ladies and gentlemen, and this is the story of a champion. Right now we are at Physique Gym in Ruaka, and today we are privileged to have one of the best powerlifters in Kenya, Musanga Mukanzi. So straight away she's going to introduce herself, then we move on to what we're going to bring to you for the day.
Bringing on the table.
Okay.
I'm Kanzi Musanga, and I'm a powerlifter and a journalist, and here to talk to big man mwenyewe.
Am I really big? Or
Big
big is
man
relative?
Tumekuja. He says we have a lot to offer, so let's see what we have. Yeah.
Now the only problem is that we've been here and you haven't even given us tea. We waited for you for so long.
In my defense, you said you'll come earlier. You cancelled, so the tea is in the kitchen.
It's okay. Thank you, Mukanzi, one of the best powerlifters in Kenya. So we are going straight away. Today we are going to talk matters powerlifting. Most unique content about powerlifting that you've never had. We're bringing you wonders today. So first of all, what is powerlifting to you? And what makes, I'd like you to break down to our audience what powerlifting basically is, the movements, and the general rules for the powerlifting events.
Generally, I think I will describe powerlifting as a strength sport. So, and it involves three lifts, major lifts. So it's the squats, the bench press, and the deadlifts. And in powerlifting competitions, and a powerlifter is expected to complete or to try 3 attempts of each lift, and you do that to your maximum weight. Whatever weight you can, whatever weight you're able to handle, and you lift that, against your body weight. So I think it's so in most cases, or actually generally in powerlifting, competitions are held, or competitions are categorized within body weights specifics or body weight categories. So people will generally compete within your body weight category. So for instance, for me, I will be either under 65 kg or under 69 kg, if there was any category for that, or any other, depending on where my body weight lies. And then if I'm competing in those categories, so I just have to bring my best to the table, be able to complete 3 lifts, 3 attempts for each lift. So if it's the squat, I get in with my first attempt, and then my last attempt is going to be my maximum weight, whatever weight I can lift. And so it goes, it's the same for bench press, it's the same for the deadlift as well.
Okay, thank you for that. I have seen you participating in different events. I've seen you participating in strongman, but majorly I see you as a powerlifter, as opposed to the strongman events. What do you think makes a good powerlifter in regards to what you've just said?
I think first and foremost, one of the things I find really makes a good powerlifter, I think you need to be consistent in terms of first of all, you need to have a solid training program. And then if you can also, if you're able to, if you don't know your way around programming, for your training or diet or nutrition or whatever, you can invest in good trainers. In a trainer, you can, talk to dietitian or nutritionist and figure out how you can work with that also. Then there are also trainers who have very good understanding of nutrition and diet. So you can, you can talk to people who actually are qualified to be able to guide you in that sense, for you to be able to bring the best out of yourself. So besides the training program, you have to be consistent. So with powerlifting, or I guess with any kind of sport, you have to do the same things consistently. It might look boring, it might look like, you see this fancy, fancy training, fancy exercises or fancy workouts that people do maybe on the internet, and you're like, oh my God, I want to try that. But no, you have to stick to a specific program and keep doing it, and you have to show up for your workouts every time. But consistency also requires you to, in order for you to be consistent and for you to, follow your program to to fully follow your program and perform well, you have to, the things you also have to do in order for your body to be able to respond to the program and for you to perform well. So that means you have to, like I said, nutrition, you have to eat really well, and good diet, balanced diet. I'm not saying you have to diet or, not those, we're not talking about the crazy diets that people talk about and the culture of dieting that is not healthy. So so you mostly have to make sure your food has, you eat food that is nutritious and different food groups. So you can't say, oh, I don't eat carbs. You need carbs because you need energy to be able to lift. You need protein because you're building muscle. Like you're going to the gym, tearing your muscles and burning a lot. So at the end of the day, if you're trying to be strong and you're trying to grow as an athlete, as a powerlifter, or even as a strongman athlete or strongman athlete, or even as a bodybuilder, you need to eat enough protein, fruits, everything. You need everything in that. Greens, vegetables are very important as well in that. And so besides that, so like I said, consistency, you need to have a good diet, you need to rest, take your rest days very seriously. Do not overwork your body. I don't know, people call it overtraining. So there are people who don't rest at all, but that is not healthy, that is not good, and sometimes it can even result to injuries. And then I think the other thing you need to do, rest, and then there's also sleeping. You need to sleep enough. Something that I should also take, I should take my own advice in terms of sleeping well. So it's a good sleep routine or sleeping routine, sleeping enough. And and then I think what also makes a good powerlifter is, having the mental fortitude for it. You will not always be motivated to show up, to come to the gym to train. And you cannot rely on motivation for you to be able to build, who you are. So discipline is very important. Like I said, have a program, stick to it, and then if you feel like you need to, if you feel like your program has served you for a specific period, or if you feel like you're stuck, or I don't know, they say you've hit a plateau. Yeah, you can seek help from a trainer or professionals in the sport, and they can help you come up with a proper plan that can take you from that level where you feel like you're stuck and then go way up. But so I guess rest, the mental fortitude, and
true.
you need to train train as if you want to do this thing for the rest of your life. Have you're training for, it's like a longevity plan. So you're not just training because you want to compete. It's not even about competing, because look at Kenya here. We don't have a lot of competitions. So you cannot say you train because you compete. You have to, you're also building your own life, your health and everything. A lot depends on it. So basically just taking care of your body, being able to do this, love the sport if you have the passion for it. Because honestly, if you ask me, is there money in this sport in this country? No. So when you see a lot of powerlifting, athletes or athletes from any other sports, they're not doing this for the money. It is the love for the game, and also we need to understand that loving the game or the sport doesn't mean that there are days that you will not feel like doing it. But regardless, you gotta have the discipline for it. You need to be able to open yourself to learning, from other people, and do not use somebody else's program when it comes to training, because our bodies are different, our goals are different. So what Juha is doing in their training and for their competition or whatever, even if it's prepping for a competition, is not necessarily going to work for my body or for me. So you need to know what your goals are, what you want out of it, and for you to tailor a program that suits your needs and suits your capacity.
Just in regards to the breakdown of the points that you brought, I think I like to majorly focus on one thing, the bit about programming.
Yeah.
First of all, do you have a coach? And number two, because I was recently watching a documentary, a weightlifting documentary in the US. Mm-hmm. So in the US, they were saying they have not invested very well in the weightlifting coaches. So US is it's an advanced country.
Yeah.
For Kenya, I don't know if there's any powerlifting coach in Kenya. I know there are Olympic weightlifting coaches. I know there are CrossFit coaches.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's any powerlifting coach in Kenya.
Yeah.
If so, do you have one?
So that is also something that I'll say that's also something that I think I struggle with in terms of I don't have a coach. First of all, I don't have a coach. I don't have a trainer. I usually just create my own program and then work with it pole pole till it gets me to where I need it to get me, and just keep on improving on it or on myself. And so it's I concur with you because I'm yet to meet a powerlifting trainer here, powerlifting coach especially. We don't even have referees, like proper trained referees who have done the actual powerlifting training courses for you to be able to qualify as a trainer or as a coach. I'm yet to meet any. If there are, maybe I just haven't met them, but I don't know, like I would like to actually meet one. Like I would want to work with one, but I feel like there's underinvestment in powerlifting here in that sense. And so I feel like also people are yet to see it as a viable sport in that sense. So I feel like I'm yet to meet a powerlifting coach, to be honest. And it would be really good to have one, because the sport is growing. People are interested, people are coming up, people are ready to do what it takes. But there's a lot that, there's a huge gap in terms of information, in terms of knowledge in the sport. So it would be really good if we had a professional who can come in, who has the skill, understands what it takes, understands that people have, different, capacities in the sport, and be able to, guide, like athletes and, build like a formidable team.
So in regards, thank you for that. In regards to the issue about that you said, because I like my viewers to know this, there's an issue that you said about the sport is growing. It's true, the sport is growing.
Yeah.
We've seen events like Strongman all over the world where the different events that keep on being introduced.
Yeah.
Do you see a possibility of powerlifting evolving, like just from the 3 main lifts, or maybe changing the techniques, movements?
Are we talking about powerlifting evolving locally or globally, internationally?
In this particular case, I'm talking about globally. If I come to locally.
I think so. I think there's gonna be a lot of. I think the thing about life is nothing is the same. Like whatever, you know how people say bei ya jana si ya leo.
Bei ya unga ya jana
si ya leo. Yeah, so I feel like the truth goes for everything in life, and I think also in sports. And I think a lot of things are going to evolve in the sport. Powerlifting is growing, is evolving. New things are coming up. New rules. I think I'm not really sure, but I remember a while back I read something about powerlifting, the IPF. Introducing new rules for, I think, the bench press, or taking away something. So I think in terms of technicalities, in terms of rule and participation, there's a lot that's going to change over time, and I think that is good because change is something that is supposed to go with the times that we're in. So different eras, different things. I think the general grounding principalities, or general foundational rules that make the sport, or that make powerlifting will remain, but the things that will be tweaked here and there to accommodate the times, people, and I guess a lot of technology as well. So we'll see.
How many powerlifting events have you done so far?
How many powerlifting events have I done?
Or how many competitions?
So I will say I have been in, let me name them. So I did, my first ever competition was a strongman, a very small one, meet that was in 2021, I think in June.
Battlefield.
Battlefield. Yes, 2021 Battlefield. And I competed, that was my first ever, and I competed in the novice category.
Yeah.
I think it was novice. Yeah, novice category, and I came second. And then afterwards I did Missouli, and Missouli was strongman, strong woman, also novice category. And I did that was my first, I think, and last strongman, because my heart, is really in powerlifting. That is where my passion lies. This is where I feel most alive, in powerlifting. And so I decided.
That's your soulmate.
Yeah, it's my soulmate, powerlifting. So I decided, you know what, I feel like there are things that here, strongman-wise, that we can do better, but I feel like, I don't know if it's something to do with funds, funding, money, sponsorship. I don't know if, because I feel like when you look at other countries, how they do strongman, they usually have weight categories.
Yeah.
You don't just put all athletes in the same pool. For them to, it's very unfair when you do it like that. It's very unfair. And so when I competed at the Missouli one, I think we were all put in the same category.
Yeah.
And obviously people are, other people, people are not within the same weight classes, and so it's not balanced.
So you with your 65 kgs, you're battling against.
Yeah, and at the time I think I was even lower than 65 kg. And you're there, you're competing, and somebody else is, probably weighing maybe 90.
Not even 90,
Yeah,
100 kgs.
100, and you're there, unangangana, and you're like, it can't work. So the things that, honestly, for the sport, any kind of sport, for it to grow, there has to be foundational principles that we build on and we stick to. So so I see that happens a lot in strongman, where people, you just compete all of you in the same category, and it's very unfair in a sense that it keeps, it won't grow in terms of people will always feel shortchanged or played.
Yeah, true.
People will feel like that, and then it kind of kills the morale, right? And so if I am coming there, I want to know, because if we have weight categories, we're going to make sure that people, there'll be different people competing. So there won't be one person dominating the whole all the time, dominating, true. The wins, taking the gold all the time. It needs to be, there needs to be
a rotation.
Yeah, a rotation and a space where people feel like it's a challenge that's worth taking part in. But regardless, people show up though. People love it.
Yeah,
and
we still show up. We still show up.
People show up. People do it. Yeah, and so I decided, for the sake of my, and also there's this notion here that for strongman, for you to compete in strongman, you have to,
bulk.
to bulk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that works for people in strongman, but it doesn't work for me. If it works for other people, that's fine. But for me, I'm like, I don't think, I'm like, I want to be able to compete with people within my own body weight category, you see? And so if I can't find that in strongman and I don't have a passion for strongman, there's no need for me to kill myself and try to bulk, and it's even probably harder for me. So I stick to a sport that allows me to do that, which is powerlifting. And first of all, I got into lifting for powerlifting anyway, and that's always been the love of my life, like you said, my soulmate. So it's so I stick to that. So I did Missouli. I think I was the 7th person, or I don't know, huko. I can't remember really, but yeah, I really did see a lot of strong women doing the thing. Yeah, I was just like, let's go, my people, you got this, Yeah, so I did strongman, the Missouli one, and then the next competition I did, I think, was the deadlift record breakers. In 20,
Rongai.
Yeah, in Rongai. I think it was 2021. Hata hawakunilipa. Imagine, you got your money. I never got my money. I never got my money. They cooled my 5K.
I told you guys the importance of making noise.
Listen,
Make noise.
I just realized also, I think that also taught me something. I'm not trying to blame people or point fingers, but I realized something about these strength sports in this country. I think people have a certain level of disrespect for women in the sport. I feel like women are not, women are not appreciated for what they bring to this sport. And I feel like there's so much that women, we don't need to prove ourselves. We've already, people already do so much. And I tell people, when you see a woman doing this strength sports, it takes a lot. There's a lot that women have to deal with their bodies, so much. We don't even get me started on hormones, on period, like there's a lot. And for somebody to show up every day at the gym, every month, to be able to put in the work that they need to put in, it takes a lot. And I feel like so many women, they perform so well, they do so well in the sport, but I feel like still, I think also just the general sentiment. I think, I don't know, like in all sports in this country, like I feel like women tend to be overlooked a lot or underappreciated, and I think that needs to change. And even the issue where there was a time people were holding competitions, and the prize money, like men's prize money was higher than women's prize money. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why is it not equal? Give me a reason why Juha should get 100K and a woman doing the same thing under different categories, but the same sport is getting 70K for first place, when somebody else is. So I don't know, like there's the inequalities, those are things that need to change.
So, just before you continue in regards to that, the prize money, I once raised that issue, and I think according to to different stakeholders in the sport, they were saying the turn-up of women is usually a bit low as compared to men.
That's not an excuse. Yeah. That's not an excuse. It's not about the the turnout in terms of the women who show up to compete.
Exactly.
But they've showed up anyway. So they showed up. Like, even if the turnout is low, tell me what. In fact, it should be then easier to be able to sponsor the categories for women. Because now, kamani wakolo, it means you won't be spending so much money because categories si mingi, but make the prize money equal, right? So I don't know. I feel like still it doesn't make sense, and that's just an excuse, and it's a lame one. So we can do better. But I've seen people are doing better. You've seen what I usually say this. Even if the money is not a lot, it's not even about the money. It's just appreciating.
Actually, there is no.
There's no money. It's just it's just the gesture or the part of awarding or rewarding an athlete is you showing how much respect you have for them. And so it's not even about the money. It's just like how do you hold these female athletes? Where do you place them? So even if it's, you see the way Uzani does, whether it's the last time.
I think Uzani is one of the best powerlifting.
Yeah, like if the first person is getting 10,000, it's for each, like whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. You get 10,000 each. So it's not even about the money. It's just about you being able to see that this is a sport. Everybody's equal in this sport. Treat each athlete with the same respect. So men are not, superior to women in that sense. So, like level ground, level playground. That's what it is. So Uzani does that. Uzani, doesn't matter whether it's male or female, you all get the same amount of money when it comes to awarding people prize money. And so I also did Uzani. So I've done Uzani. Did Uzani last year. I was the defending champion from 2022, and then I got dethroned this year by Chena, and Chena said I need to get the title back next year. So this year I also did Uzani in August 19th.
But then before I just continue, what was your Wilks in Uzani in relation to Chena's?
Mine was 67.6. My weight.
No, the Wilks.
Oh, the Wilks. Oh,
the Wilks score. Just for the sake of your viewers, Wilks is
the Wilks. Sorry.
It's a powerlifting. What is it called?
It's like it's a formula that's used it's a formula that's used to determine the winner. And so how do I describe it? So it's how much weight somebody can lift against their body weight, and Wilks is only used when people can, like when we don't have enough people for each category. And so when we are all competing in the same pool, Wilks is used to determine the winner depending on how. So it's like the heavier you lift against your body weight, let's say if you're lighter and you lift heavier, if you're like, let's say you're 60 and you're lifting the same weight as someone who weighs 80, and so if I am doing 160 for my last lift and I'm 67, and somebody else who's I'm 67 kgs and somebody else who's 80 kgs lifting the same weight for their last lift, that clearly shows I'm stronger, and so it puts me above that person. So so I don't know how to.
I think that is a bit clear for the viewers.
Yeah. So you will have to describe that in your comment section.
Okay.
Also, my Wilks, I can't remember. I did not even look at it. I think that's also not a good thing. I did not pay attention to that one. I do not know how. I don't know the total score in terms of my Wilks. I can't remember for the last. I think I checked, but I wasn't too keen on it. So, yeah, I shall check. I will check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to something just for the audience in relation to the last lift that we did, the last event that we did in August 19th, Uzani. We are like us to analyze a few athletes. Who do you think was the best athlete in terms of either category? In terms of either you can analyze in terms of either performance in relation to a specific lift, or maybe the general performance.
I don't know. I
Or
feel
you want
like
to blow your own trumpet.
Yeah. Listen, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, I can blow my own trumpet. I know I'm a great athlete. That is one thing I know, and I also like to, I like to also appreciate other people, because I see a lot of people in this sport who do so much and who perform really well, and I don't even know other people's names. There are people that I know I saw perform really well, but I can't remember their names. But I will tell you a few people. I'll tell you, like, let me give you one person, for instance, in that I saw performed really well. And also there were newcomers as well in this year's competition. There are newcomers. And so I saw people break their own records. It was amazing, and people were just there for the fun of it. Most of us were just doing it for the fun of it, And so I think I would say I really liked, or I was very impressed by Chena. Chena really, really did a good job, because I remember she did a competition in Qatar.
Yeah.
And in that competition, she really tried heavy lifts. And there's a time I think she did, I think squat, I don't know, I think it was 190 at the time, or I can't remember really well, but I remember she got it, but her elbows, I think, touched
The thighs.
Yeah, the thighs when coming up, so it was disqualified. And I watched how she was so frustrated, but she everything else was okay with that lift except that part, and so it was a no lift. But when you watch at how she performed this time around at Uzani, I think she took so much from that competition in Qatar, and she used those things as a building block to sort of correct and get better. And so when you look at her performance this time around last month, she really did a good job. Like, she came through, she smoked that, the podium, and she got her lifts in, and and she was able to do, like, she did more, like, she lifted more weight, she was lifting more weight, so it was really good. So I think she was one of my best people to see. And then there was Ashley. This was Ashley Chile. Yeah, Ashley, this is Ashley's first ever powerlifting meet, and she came through, did her thing, smoked the stage as well. And it's so, like, to be able to come on stage, like, to be on a podium and be able to get your PRs at your first meet, and, like, successfully, like, I tell people success is not necessarily you being fast in everything or in something. It's just you coming there, telling yourself, okay, this is what I want out of this experience, and you come and you get something out of it. And I felt like when I spoke to Ashley for a while during the competition, and even after, I felt like she came through and got what she wanted to get out of the competition. And then yeah, so that was that was amazing. And then there was also you, of course. There was you.
I was actually waiting for you to mention.
Yeah, and then there's, of course, there's you.